Hey, this is Sasha. Thanks for joining me in today's video. What I want to share with you today is really how important is the news when you're trading stocks. So stay tuned. I'm going to share with you this insight. All right, so a lot of people, what they do is as they're looking to trade stocks, they're looking to trade it based off of the news. So when we go in and just to show you here, we're starting to go in and we're looking at these news things. You're starting to see, oh, well, what's going on? What's happening here on the news platform? What are they saying? You might even pop up like some of these other things as far as live news goes on headlines. So right here, where you're popping up these headlines. But the reality is most of these headlines, you got to remember what happens with all this news stuff. The thing with this news is that it's absolutely useless when it comes to trading. Remember what happens first. Is it price that moves first, or is it the news? And it's typically price, because what happens is the price right here as you're watching this, price is moving and then they're talking about it as it's moving, or something's going on, something happens and then they talk about it. So it's the after effect. So remember, the first thing is, okay, price. And then when price is moving, then you get the news reporting on that price. There's many times where I've seen it where the news attempts to, state, okay, well, let's say stocks moving, and then it's going to be, okay, either to the upside or to the downside, and it's going to mention it, both of them is really because of oil. So it's like there's two different news headlines. One is, hey, stocks are moving up because of oil prices. Stocks are moving down because of oil prices, because oil prices are up. And the other time, stocks moving down because of oil prices. So they try to find this correlation. And really, the way I look at it from a news standpoint is when you look at news, you have to think of back in grade school. So if you don't remember grade school, back in high school when everybody used to gossip, again, I'm not bashing the news. It's great for entertainment purposes. So if we're looking for entertainment, it's great. It's fun, it's useful, it's handy, because something happened, like let's say there's a tornado that happened, or is happening right now, and you get the news. Yeah, that's nice. It's good to know when those things are going on. But as far as the stock market go, you've got price, and then the news typically happens, okay? So that's kind of what's going on. Now, remember, as for looking at a timeline, there's different amounts of time. So it could happen for like 3 days where the selling could take place. Like let's say there's a bad event, and you got it because of the news, and you got it right here. Even though the early people got it here, you got it here, and it still continues. Yeah, that's still fine and great. But looking at news, remember what it is. It's your circle of kind of friends gossiping around. So what do? They talk about Bobby and Sue and Stacy, and they're talking about all these different things. In our case, in the stock market world, what do we talk about? We talk about Apple and Netflix and Boeing and Caterpillar and all these other stocks that are, hey, what are they doing? What's happening? What's going on? Oh, should I invest in it? Should I not? Should I talk to Bobby? Should I not? Should I talk to Susie? And that's really what's happening. So ultimately, when really push comes to shove, the news is not as useful when it comes to active trading. Is it fun to watch? Sure. It's entertaining. Is it interesting to watch? Sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Can you make a living from looking at the news? I don't see it. I haven't seen too many traders or ran into too many active traders where they trade specifically off the news. Now, long investors may be a different story, but usually they're watching and reading corporate reports and they're holding for a long period of time. That's a different story. You're holding for multi-years, and that's just part of inflation, just company growth and that kind of stuff. But as far as just looking at a news headline and doing a trade for the next 2-3 days, I just don't see it. So be very careful and mindful that when you're watching the news, and news blips are coming out all the time, by the time you're looking at, hey, there's a news event that came out right here, well, the price already, it's moved quite a bit. So just recognize that you probably missed the move. By the time the news thing's already happening, you've already missed the move. And it's not consistent because somebody's theory or color of red is different than yours. There's many shades of red. And if they say, hey, blue, then many shades of blue. So as you get one person reporting on the news, then a different person reports on the news, their word usage is different. And all of a sudden, how do you interpret that into a trade? So you have to be very careful when that goes on and that happens, and that you're taking trades on based on the news. So my point is stay away from the news if you're trying to be an active trader. If you're kind of want some entertainment, news is fine. News is great. Nothing wrong with it. But for active trading, it's probably not the best bet because there's no consistency behind it. Because whatever the headline is, that's what you're going to see. And it may sway you to buy or sell something. And another point in time, there's going to be something else. It's whatever is on their boat, whatever is the highest priority to talk about or discuss when it comes to viewership. What are people interested in hearing about? So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. I know a lot of people, they go into the news thing and they say, hey, well, how do I trade based on the news? How do I evaluate these news reports and stuff like that? No, it's already done. By the time the news happens, it's done. So you got to look at either the charts, or if you're a long-term investor, you could look at the fundamentals. Usually great charts have great fundamentals have great charts. It's just that fundamentals move a lot slower. Charts are a lot faster because, when panic sets in, it's based on the charts. It's not so much on fundamentals anymore. It's on emotions. So thanks for joining me. If you want some great freebies, check out the links right here. Subscribe to the channel and see some other great videos as well. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.